Yeah, we're starting early because there's just way too much to talk about, man. So just when you thought 2020 couldn't get any weirder, and then you remembered, oh yeah, COVID-19 is still a thing, and it's like the Billy Mays meme. Like every time you're just like, man, 2020 is crazy, but wait, there's more. So there is more as the Vikings and Titans shut down the facility. By the way, yeah, so the Titans knew. The story's still developing. So the Titans put a practice squad cornerback on the COVID-19 reserve list. Also, it's coming out that one of the linebacker coaches tested positive right before the game as well. So the Titans went into the game knowing that they had a higher risk of COVID-19 spread, still played the game, and then afterwards they're like, oh, what do you want us to do? This is... If the league wants to send a strong message, and it does seem like they do want to, as seen by the fines against coaches just for not wearing a mask on the sidelines, the leagues need to come down extremely hard on the Titans. The Titans should have to forfeit week 3. They should be fined as much as possible, as well as they should be have draft picks removed. I mean, they absolutely should. So, is the league taking this serious or not? If they are, then what the Titans did, playing hard and fast with the rules and just being very flippant about COVID-19 procedures, it is what it is. Like, I do understand that they really wanted to just get to play the Vikings, but there are rules here. This is not Vietnam. All right, so a lot to get to today. We got a bunch of Q&A, live chat. You guys are the best. Join the Discord as well as you want to support the channel, purpleftw.com/support. I do wonder the odds. Like, what are the chances that the Vikings practice this week and the game actually happens? Or if they play the game even without practicing, they just virtually practice. Actually might be the best. Zimmer is so excited. Zimmer's stoked because you don't have to put out a practice report if your facility is closed. That's how he thinks. Cool. So, oh yeah. So yeah, we pinned a comment. Juice World 999, and as you know, like, yeah, we get funny comments and insults now and then. We just like pinning them because they're funny. Like, so Juice World 999. Can we cut the BS with the Packer slander? They are a really solid team and have an amazing quarterback. I don't know if you know who he is, but Tim Grossi. I do not know Tim Grossi. I know Tom Grossi is a Packer podcast, and he will actually give credit where it's due. He will say the Vikings are great when they're such as last year, but ranking the Packers and the teens is absolutely atrocious. Now, I will never give the Packers credit. Plus, one of my favorite parts of every single week is doing up the power rankings, just because people lose their mind, man. It's like, how did the Vikings go from 10 to 9 after they lost? It's like, well, they look pretty good. How did the Packers fall in the rankings, even though they're 3-0? It's my rankings. If you don't like them, make your own rankings. Also, I also greatly enjoy, like, half of the comments we get, it seems like, are people saying, hey, have you seen this other channel or this other podcast, or you're not as big as this other team's guy? That's the normal Packer fan insult. It's like, oh, you ain't no Tom Grossi. I don't care, man. Like, we've been over this several thousand times. Like, I don't care about this channel growing. I don't care about this or that. This is just fun to us. Frankly, if 5 people watched a video, probably wouldn't make as many videos, but we'd still do it because it's still fun to talk about these fun, insane things, right? So, and also, you know, there's between me and Tom Grossi. Tom Grossi has talent, so that's why we're here and he's there, right? So, who cares? Andy Shong. If you could only choose one of these squads, who'd you choose to replace current Vikings player? No line squad from the past? Yes. Yeah, it would be the O-line. I would take. So Hutch and McDaniel never played together. But man, that like late aughts. So left to right, it was McKinney, Hutchinson, Burke or Sullivan. Who's the right guard? Right guard and then Lodeholt. Right? Well, let's look that up. All right, so was it Anthony Herrera? Oh yeah, Anthony Herrera. I loved Anthony Herrera, man. BFR 2009 Vikings. And then the 98 Vikings back in the day. Left to right, it was Todd Stussy, underrated, had a lot of penalties, but I like Todd Stussy overall. Todd Stussy, Randall McDaniel, Jeff Christie, who also went down with Randall McDaniel down to Tampa Bay, which is unfortunate. David Mixon Dixon, mixing up a big pan of brownies. David Dixon he was listed at we'll look it up. He's listed at 320, but he was $4 if he was announced. And then, of course, the late great Corey Stringer, who's just phenomenal as well. All right, so does it just have starting lineups? I guess we'll just pick a game. All right, so it's unfortunate we have to look at this one. All right, so left to right, McKinney, Hutch, Sullivan, Herrera. They listed load hole in the defense. That's how massive he was. He was offense and defense. That's great. Anthony Herrera was good. Probably Tennessee, I believe. Yeah, Tennessee, played for 6 years. Was he undrafted or was he like a late round pick? It's one of the two. But yeah, man, he was good for the Vikings for a number of seasons. Because he just had that nastiness, as well as you could not push him around. All right, I got to look at what David Dixon was listed at. David Dixon listed at 343. Okay. David Dixon, 343. In your bra. Are you kidding me? Let's get a good full body David 343 my ass. Please. Man, maybe the Vikings do need to go back to like a man gap scheme. Just get massive offensive linemen instead of these, putting premium on movement skills. I get it. Next up is Trey Billmeyer. If the Vikings do decide to draft a quarterback in the draft, we need to get rid of Zimmer. He will ruin the poor guy. Well, if you give him to Kubiak or Eric Bieniemy or Lincoln Riley, lots of options. Pro capping. How can we stay solid throughout the game? We've fallen hard in the second half of the past games. Well, you have to get a coaching staff that makes good halftime adjustments. And yeah, Archangel 01. Have you noticed that Zimmer seems to criticize the offense for a lot of the Vikings' troubles? Yes. The amount of capital spent on the D line versus the O line has been thinking it's time for him to go. That's fair. Also, John DeFilippo, we don't run the ball enough, and Kevin Stefanski, we don't run the ball enough, and blah, blah. Yeah, it's criticizing the offense. The last drive was embarrassment. It's embarrassment? You're supposed to be a defense-first team, and your offense puts up 30 points, and you can't win. That's what's embarrassing, Zim. Torrey Hansen, if there was a movie about the Vikings, what actors would play Zimmer, Cousins, and Thielen? Let's see here. Nerdy actors. We've been over this. I think Jake Gyllenhaal would be a great Adam Thielen. Let's see here. I think Ed Helms would be a good Cousins. Just give his hair a little blondishness. The aloofness. Big tuna. I went to Michigan State. You ever heard of it? He would be good. And we pointed out that Zimmer and Merle from The Walking Dead are voice doppelgangers. So I actually think that he also plays Yondu in Guardians. What's the actor's name? Merle Dick? No, that's not his name. Michael Rooker. There you go. He would be good. Michael Rooker was also in Tombstone, man. Tombstone's a great movie. I gotta go back and watch that. Let's see, Jake. Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, he could pull off Thielen. There you go. All right, next up is Matt Carpenter. Do you think we will see another situation where one player calls out another this season? If it starts going to poop, absolutely it will. Kind of like Diggs and Cousins last year, or even Thielen and Cousins on sideline. Zimmer called out the offense. Seems like it's mostly directed at Cousins. Yeah, you just wait. Cousins, in a way, in his post-game press conference comments, he was very much defending the offense. And you just wait. Say the Vikings lose a couple of the next games where their offense puts up 30, 35 points, and then Zimmerman's still calling out the offense. Is like, well, defense. Broad Phoenix 22. What trade moves or free agent signs do you want to see that'll help the team succeed? Right now, there's not much. I mean, sign Snacks. There's not really much else you would do. Charlie Boltman, who will be the next Vikings GM out of these guys? Elliott Wolf, who's on the Patriots. He was on the Packers too, because his daddy, Ron Wolf was a great Packers GM for a while. Ed Dodds, since GM Colts. Joe Hortz, PPM Ravens. He'll probably just hold out and be like, Eric DeCosta is eventually retiring. It's probably not gonna happen. Mike Borgonzi, football operations from the Chiefs. Dick Hortz. Who was the one who was in the Derby for the Colts job? GM candidates. Because there was a name. Was it Dodds? Might have been Dodds. But, since Mack is sort of working out with the Raiders, I would take a shot on Daniel Jeremiah. Now, it's a little bit different than when y'all forget. So the Lions, they plucked Matt Millen out of the booth. Like, he had zero personnel experience. He was good at calling games. Basically, you're taking, what would be an example? Just like a color commentator out of the booth, a guy who used to play. It'd be like if a team just hired Chris Collinsworth as GM. That's exactly what the Lions did with Matt Millen. But Mike Mack coming out of the booth, he's put in a number of years, grinding out there. But DJ has, I believe, 5 or 6 years of actual regional scouting experience with the Ravens, Eagles, and Browns, I think, somewhere in there. But yeah, I would trust Daniel Jeremiah, guy who gets it done. At least he'll be entertaining. Hunter Payton. From this list, I would take. Maybe I'll just take Elliott Wolf just to troll Packers fans. But of course they'll be like, well, of course, Packer guy. So screw him. I'll take Dodds. Hunter Payton. What if we trade this year's first and next year's first and Anthony Barr get the first overall pick? Thoughts? Well, why would you trade it to ourselves when the Vikings have the first pick? Also, hey, live chat, let us know where you're watching from. Give a couple shout outs. Also, let's see, updates. Any updates on Ronagate? No, not as of right now. All right, next up is Seth V. Herman Wappin and Blake Brandel. He's killing the camp according to the coaches. Keep rolling with Dozier. That is a very good question. Brandel was looking good. He was actually rolling with the twos at the left tackle spot when. All right, so Oli Udo was out on the COVID list. And then they had Rashad Hill at second team right tackle. Then he came back. Rashad Hill went to second team left tackle. Brandel went down to third team. But yeah, Brandel's looking really good. I don't know what the plan is going to be because I still don't think Ezra Cleveland is going to be a guard. Blake Brandel, is his ceiling capped as a swing backup? I guess for a 6th-round pick, you'll take that. But I mean, the kid has talent. I don't think that he necessarily translates to any other position. I think he's a left tackle only in this league, so we'll see. Robert Badet. Do you expect the pass rush or lack thereof to improve this week against a sub-bar Texans O-line, even without Hunter still, and could be the way limiting Watson's effectiveness? Absolutely. Even though Laramie Tunsil is a stud, everyone else is a bunch of slappies. Fadi did get off the blocks. He didn't get home, but he did lead the team with 5 pressures on Sunday. So Fadi's starting to get after it. Yannick, of course, has been getting after it. But, the defensive interior, there ain't much there for a pass rush. Andrew Anderson. Where Irv Smith? I thought he was going to have a big year this year. Get Yannick for a couple of years. Yeah, Irv's been super disappointing. He did have a nice block. Maybe got away with a hold on the Dalvin 39-yard touchdown run. But receiving-wise, just has not been there. Brett G. Even if season gets away from us, I'd like to keep Yannick long-term. Should we be worried about his interest in staying if we take a step backward? Nah, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. As long as the money's there, he's fine. Plus, Vikings can franchise tag him, so I think that's a big concession when he redid his deal. Ben Weatherly. Vikings fans watching Xavier Rhodes have 2 picks and Mike Remersolo as a guard. Visible frustration. Well, Rhodes did get to play the Jets, so congratulations to that. Yeah. Also, it's funny. PFF for a number of years hated Xavier Rhodes. Like, I think Rhodes was like their 40th graded cornerback in 2017 when he was a first team All Pro. But now, oh, look, he's with another team that's not the Vikings. And all of a sudden, he's the PFF's number one graded cornerback. Oh, la di da. Harvey Melber. Andy, love your optimism that the Vikings can possibly turn the season around still. But if they pull out a 5 or 10 and 7-9, they fall short of the 7 seed. You know that our front office will give draft capital trade up number 1 or top 3 next year. You think Rick can pull off RG3 trade scenario in the middle of the pack? Yes. Why the hell not? Don't even have a second round pick. Still do it. Jake Lagavin, Mike Remmer starting red guard for the Chiefs last night. Congratulations. Andrew Anderson. Yeah, Mike Remmer can only get his starting job because a doctor that filled that job before opted out. So, yeah, really great for Mike Remmers. Andrew Anderson. Have you seen a documentary of Trevor High School and College? The dude is all about teammates. I've not seen it, but yeah, he's very well regarded as a great leader and just someone that players want to rally around. Charlie Boltman, let's say the Vikings have number 6 in the 2021 draft. Who you're taking out these guys? Trey Lance. No pants for Trey Lance. Jamar Chase, Wyatt Davis, Eichenbrook, and Mac Jones. Lance would be tough. It depends on where teams see guys like Kyle Trask, Tanner Morgan, Purdy, maybe even KJ Costello, maybe even Derek King going because, well, the Vikings don't have a second round pick, so that complicates things. But personally, I would take Trey Lance. You can make a good case for taking Wyatt Davis, although that is a little rich at this point. But once the Big Ten comes back, if he has a dominating season, taking him in the Quentin Nelson number 6 spot, yeah. Jamar Chase with Thielen and Justin Jefferson would be a ton of fun. Man. Yeah, I'll just take Trey. Why not? Carson Harlow. How would you feel if Zimmer got fired and was replaced by Mike Leach? That would be amazing. Man, air raid in the NFL. Like true air raid, not like Cliff Kingsbury. Mike Leach, the OG swinger sword. I would love it. Juice World 999. You should do a combine stream with Tom before the next Viking Packer game. I don't do collaborations. Steelers haven't beat a team that has a win yet. I don't know how for real they are. That secondary sucked last week, and they almost lost to the Broncos' backup quarterback the week before. A win is a win. It's not the Steelers' fault that they've played bad teams. Also, the other teams don't have wins because the Steelers beat them. DJ Viz Killer, Justin Fields over Trey Lance, changed my mind. We'll get to the draft season. I'm not here. How can the team fix showing up with zero hat? It's on them. It's on Zimmer, too, by the way. Andy Shong, worth or nah? Take Mahomes and lose Thielen, Jefferson, Cook, and O'Neal. Yes. Yes. Take Tomlin but lose Zimmer. Yes. Yes. Take Donald, Gilmore, and Chris Jones but lose Hunter, Ngakoue, Kendricks, Smith, and Harrison. Nah. Pass on that one. Robert Barweiler, if Zimmer were fired, do you think he would be done in the NFL as head coach? I think the Jets will give him a shot. King Husky, Turtle, Shark, do you like Madden enough to play it on the channel? I really haven't gotten into the latest Madden, so I got to pass on that. Let's see here. A couple shout-outs. Eric Hansen score from Greater Minnesota. What up? Corey Johnson score from Houston, Minnesota, or Texas? Johnny COVID Blitz. Titans Vikings suspend in-person activities. Yes, we're aware. Lane's Bean at skull from Edina. Zach Bell score from Northern Colorado. What up? Purple Rain skull from Wausau, Wisconsin. Jason Warlick skull from Louisiana or LA. One of the two. Nicholas Covelli, I'm in school right now. You know, I would say stop the stream and focus on your education, except you'll learn more here than you will in school. Let's be honest here. Pullerfoot Skull from Nashville, Tennessee. What up? Let's see here. Patrick Harm, Cedar Rapids. Nicholas Corvelli, Skip from Wisconsin. Corey Johnson, Skull from Houston. What up? Oh, Houston, Texas. Map. B.O. Skull from Maricopa, Arizona. Landon Miller from Montclair. What's going on? Pedro Montero skull from Brazil. Mark Sunarberg skull from Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Trent Kyle skull from Maryland. What's going on? Mike Slobodan, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Seth V. Herman, downtown Fargo. Well, how big is Fargo? Like, is there a downtown and like a burbs? Jacob Hepe. I just kidding. Fargo's a great town. Great college town. It's awesome. Skull from Southern Maryland. Ryan Schmidt skull from Philadelphia. Toby Johnson. Tommy Johnson skull from Omaha. Trent Kyle skull from Western Maryland. H2O Water skull from Vancouver. Evan Kiskanaway, Ottawa. Yeah. All right, you guys are the best. Thanks for coming along. All right, so where were you? Landon Miller. Looks like I'm DE is not my primary position anymore. I'm starting center now. So will you still do a film room on me if I perform well? Yeah, sure. We'll do it. Get the all 22, man. Pulford Sculpt. Chris Boyd looked pretty decent. Looked pretty good Sunday. Jeff Gladney is really coming into form. I hope Dantzler can come back soon. Those three will be a great young team. Holton Hill is trash. That's fair. Eric Wilson and Kendricks are still great. Yeah, I like that PFF gave him a massive positive grade for that pass break up on the end, just because every single play on PFF happens in a vacuum. The fact that he dropped the game-winning interception. Andrew Anderson, I don't care where the Vikings end up this year, even though we were behind, we're last behind the Lions. They need to get the number one pick. I don't care if they use all the draft picks. Trevor has size, 6'6". He's proven winner, game change quarterback. I mean, those are all fair. Can't miss prospect. They never miss. Jason Lockett for the NFL has alerted the Vikings and Titans and their opponents for week 4 that their games may be rescheduled. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I want a Sunday off anyway. Next up is Ryan Marshall. So at what point do you just start cutting bait? Getting rid of all the bloated contracts and underachievers? Well, just Anthony Barr. Lastly, why are we so terrible at drafting quarterbacks? Well, Spielman never really puts draft capital into the quarterbacks. I mean, Teddy was developing before that leg fell off. Ponder, no. And that's it. That is it during the Spielman era. Like, he came in after the Vikings drafted T-Jack in 06. That was Brad Childress' call anyway. And then, yeah, the only quarterback that they have drafted not in the first round is Nate Stanley this year and John David Booty in 08. That is it. That is a wrap. Next up is Robert Badet. If we do end up tanking the second round pick for Gakwe, it would be a pretty good pick for the Jags. I would hate to see him walk and lose. I think that he either resigns or he gets tagged. I think he stays. Giggity goo. I think this is the end for the road for BC Johnson. No, I still think BC is a serviceable wide receiver 3, nice possession receiver. He is certainly not as bad as what is shown initially. Westworld, if you had to choose for one and only get in the Hall of Fame, Jared or AD? Jared. AD will get in. That's fine. Like Jared, Adrian Peterson will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Jared Allen may have to wait a year or two. He deserves to be a first ballot, but we'll see. Kalida Phoenix, Eric Bieniemy for head coach 2021. I'd be in. Love Eric Bieniemy. Coach Figgy, do you think Justin Jefferson is the future of this team? Yes, I think he's going to be the future face of the franchise. Him and Dalvin. Woo, let's go. Colin Andrist, can you go to the Vikings schedule and show what games do you think the Vikings will win 13-3? Woo! I mean, we could once they reschedule the Texans game. God, it's such a weird season, man. It's going to cost some serious. Sorry, just keeping up with the Rona gate. Daniel Smith, Vikings should pick up Anthony Gordon. I was okay with Gordon. Hunter Williams. What's up, Skull from Savage, Southwest Burbs. Thank you. Has there been a team in NFL history who has made the playoffs from being 0-3? Probably. Let's see. Oh, 3 making playoffs. If this is behind a paywall, we riot. I mean, who pays for good journalism anymore? 0-3. Da-da. Only 6 out of 182 teams to start 0-3 since 1980 have rallied. God damn it. By the way, local news websites are absolutely atrocious. Like, oh, it is behind a paywall. Like, I understand you have to make a buck out there, but all of the pop-up ads, all of the videos that start playing at full volume without you clicking on them, like, it's atrocious. It just is. So not great, but also those numbers didn't factor in the 17 playoffs. So, Hunter Williams, what up, Skull from Set? Actually, some of those teams, well, before 1980, doesn't even factor in the 16 playoff format. So keep that in mind. Pulford Skull, do you really think Winston would be worse than Kirk on that last drive and how we played most of the game? I mean, Kirk actually played okay, except for that last drive. Kirk may be going for 30 interceptions. Well, 4 real picks. We just did a film room on that. That'll be out tomorrow morning. And then 2 Hail Mary interceptions. I think Kubiak could scheme for Winston. I think Jameis might have 10 interceptions by now. Jameis is not good. I like Jameis because he's YOLO, but a little too much of that. Miles, do you see every game on the schedule as winnable? Yes. I know optimism can be annoying, but I can see them going 11-5 if the defense plays better. Well, the offense is there. Also, if you could bring back one player from any time to be on this team, who would you pick? Prime Randall McDaniel or Steve Hutchinson? Ben Weatherly or John Randall would be a good answer too. Or Randy Moss and Justin Jefferson would be kind of fun. There's lots of options. Ben Weatherly. Looks like the Texans have allowed quite a few rushing yards. Hopefully a big game for Cook and Madison. Also a bit worried about Samia going against JJ. Well, luckily J.J. Watt is a shell of his former self. And yeah, you can certainly gash the Titans on the ground. I don't even think this game is going to happen, man. I think public, just for PR reasons, I think they're going to cancel this game. Even if the Vikings test negative today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I think they'll cancel this game. Just for optics. Patrick Harms, how do you think Samia did in his second start? Is he already better than Elfline, or do you want Elfline back in the lineup? I think they're the same guy, essentially. Samia's leaning and leverage issues are still there. Him just getting manhandled by Jeffrey Simmons was not ideal. He had 6 pressures and allowed a sack, which, nah. Andrew Anderson, franchise equals Super Bowl. Not franchise equals no Super Bowl. Did anyone think that the Chief would win the Super Bowl before they got Pat? He make all those playoff comebacks in the playoffs. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's a good thing the Chiefs were at number 1 overall when they took Patrick Mahomes at 10. He wasn't even the first quarterback taken that draft. You know who was first taken. Charlie Boltman. Who's the next Vikings head coach between these guys? LaFleur or Bieniemy? Bieniemy. Screw the whole brother thing. Screw that. Andrew Anderson. Who do you think is going to grow some balls and be a leader? Because the 2 most important might be Anthony Harris. Love seeing that spark from Anthony Harris, being that vocal leader, being that dude. I think Kendricks can step up, even though he's a pretty quiet dude. Yeah. Cousins ain't going to do it. Connor Spies, can Michael Pierce opt in? I wonder if he could, man. It's good to know that he's Michael Pierce is good at tweeting and Instagramming during the games. It's just great. Cool. Enjoy that $350K. All right, that is it. Bouncing out, going to undisclosed location yet again today. Big news will probably happen. They'll probably cancel the game, so that happens. Back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time. You guys are the best. Skull, production value.